visionary, consuming cherries, mushrooms, and berries. Beneath the endless skies in Gemini in June, I'm in tune with fairies. Lit pituitary.
Very interesting face.
I see tombs in Timeri, civilized, they had sewers ready.
And again, I knew it would be.
Saw him lift the bricks, huge and heavy. During the same time, Suma had levees. They fertilized with cow manure. The water fluid was steady. Now the scrolls are buried. Palms that are old and sweaty. Took the cloth off the bottle and dashed rosemary. Then anointed his own skull and faced the north of Gobekli Tepe. Turkey, Xerxes, Persian and the Medes. My words to MCs. You look for herb, you speak to a bush with burning leaves. Remove your shoes, fall on your knees. This is not heavy mental. This the master of the mysterious, the mind moving the macabre. Manipulate Mercury perfectly. My dark matter is horror. The golden guru of Google, the Yahweh of Yahoo and YouTube. Arm, leg, arm, horns, and crown of thorns head. Spawn, the dawn of the dead. All the natives are blue and the sky was red. And at night the tribes glowed like stars. And all the planets look like feathers on heads. Little waters talking from the medicine bed. Ate unleavened bread, buns from the son of heaven. Fed crumbs from off the floor. Greeks with no teeth, just gums. Lick with the tongue, sit at the master's feet. Were bums, beggars, their legs were too weak and numb. Their gestures pointed to the deceased and young. Who else you know can rhyme like this? Who else you know can take your mind through a time you felt exist? Quiet your brain, let me help you with it. It's getting hot, check the Celsius. Hell melting every cell in yourself. You burn, turn your shell into a crisp. Your spirit leaves your physics like a mist to the outer limits. And the alchemist study your algorithms. Every sentence in my album's written, attempting to give you power building. Maybe turn you into flower children. They notice when the alpha's risen. My ascension go through cloud dimensions. The mouse is fast, but the owl's sitting. His talons hitting for gripping. He's silent in blizzards. He flew down, touched the ground as a wizard. As he walked, he morphed into priest. When he walked the portals like the immortal light. Meditating, shutting doors. The more I write, all the crystals in my house come together to form organite. The windows open up by themselves. Curtain blows, menorahs light. I hold on to the string theory. I pause, looking up at my higher self like I saw a kite. Divinity around me like a king, surrounded by all his knights.
Amazing.
Proto-origin of blackness. The sun's like oranges and patches. I pick 'em, put 'em in baskets. Tree of life. His eyes is red, his teeth is white.
Very interesting face.
Woolly head, his feet ignites. Features of Christ.
And again, I knew it would be.
Unleashing the dead with me on the mic. Monumental Congo temples, confidential cosmos ceremonial science. Serious supermind, manufacture of manuscripts, mutating while rhyming. El Leon, devil spawn, hellish forms of angelic zealots, the rebellious warned, the selfish from dorms where relics are torn. I'm meditating with the natives in the sweat box. Water drops from the wet rocks. Our minds are free as it gets hot. Now I play chess a lot, study the Ma'at and the Sephiroth. I leave Ox, Megabot, Ziggurat, Spirit Watch, but which is not. I miss the spark in the mystic spot. I'm from the hominid that's dominant, a king's continent, streams of consciousness. Look around, there's crowns on a winged monument. The smoke rings are opening. See my providence of promises, the source of confidence. Gods and goddesses bask in the ambience. Most high should die if I should die before I wake and feel the evil embrace of the eagle's lethal claws fitting my paws and face. I pause as I'm left and taken away back to his cosmic nest. I'm losing consciousness. My spirit disconnects as it devours my flesh. It's called the coffin's caressed. The Heru hug. You are now with us above, amongst the angels of love. There's Abel, there's Enlil, there's Gabriel. That's the Hootie, that's the Hawker. That's the Muzi, and I'm the father. Golgotha. Now it's just a riverbank with seagulls and otters and fish that's swimming through the skulls of heroes and martyrs. And right above is just a ground zero for joggers. In the days are old, they said they created souls from the wheel and the potter. The Kabbalah scroll said it's the wheel of the macabre. From the pineal is the zeal, is the seal of the Nagas. They said a strand of web is stronger still as rain is still on the flowers. More ground to till as you heal from the copper. I showed you my views while standing on the hill of Masada. Been Israel since a toddler.
Alright, peace and light. Welcome to another episode of Nobodies Radio. Placement like a phone. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot, and I'm here with a blessing and a gift. Okay. I don't know how y'all spending y'all Friday, but I get to spend my Friday with some cosmic killers. You understand what I'm saying? And we got a dynamic cosmic healer here. So fly. God was so fly. She was like, I'm going to take you out of all that you know and have you travel all of these different places. And it ain't going to make no sense until you get to your destination where you dwell in. And you're gonna see exactly what's going on. She's so divine in her wisdom. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give a shout out to God. She is the head of my life. You understand what I'm saying? Working, moving, motivating, and uplifting. We got healer up in here. Okay? We got a healer up in here right now from Elite Motivation. So I'm like, what's the 411? She's like, I'm glad you asked. I'm about to tell you what's going on right now. So let's give it up for the Starseed Healer. Okay, y'all heard me say it. She ain't say it. I'm gonna say it on her behalf. Let's give it up for the Starseed Healer in the building right here on Do It Out Radio. Mahatma Starseed. Peace and blessings. How you doing, guys? What's the word? What's the word? What's the 411? What's the 411? Oh.
Peace, peace. Thank you so much. I appreciate that introduction. I definitely will receive all those flowers you've given me.
Hey,
And
yes.
I will tell you this, you know what the 411 is? It is a time for radical healing. We are in an age where it is extremely dangerous to stay asleep and surface level. And
Mm,
we have nothing but the opportunity but to raise up from our ashes. That's what's going on right now.
okay. So the phoenixes is rising from the ashes. Okay. So I'm curious about you. What got you started? What was the spark for you to decide to bless the earth with your healing talents and gifts?
Well, I would say what got me started was I've always had like this desire to speak in front of my community and share this new image that the world has never seen before. And I knew this at a very young age. And as I was growing up, as I was going through my own, challenges, turmoils, I started realizing that there's no right moment to jump into this boat of like, let's start paying attention. And my 30s definitely was something that was a big indicator. I am really big at being able to just like reflect on who I am. And so after I was, going into a new decade of life, I was like, what have I done? Where am I going? And am I happy with the pace of my life? And that was that pivotal moment. I would say it was about actually at this point, 10 years ago, that I started wanting to really expose myself to the world. And I started that journey 10 years ago, finding out how I can feel comfortable with being out in the world, sharing my sounds, because I already had this, what many say, this fairy tale way of explaining my life, even though it was not always so fairy tale. I just love life and I love what I'm experiencing. So I've created this platform in the realm of Elite Motivation 411, which is one of my platforms, to be able to supply individuals with the tools necessary for them to figure out how to see their life as peaceful and harmony that is, representing for who they are.
I love that. I love it. So a decade ago, you was like, all right, y'all done bothered me long enough. I hear y'all. Okay, it's time. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready though. Like, did you struggle with that? Was it a tug of war? Like, what was that like? Like, was it finally like? Because I remember, I don't know if you remember that movie Ghost. You remember that
Yeah,
movie Ghost?
yeah, yeah,
and Oda Mae Brown was like, "All right, that's it. Okay, all right." She decided she was going to help Sam, right? Because before that, she was teetering around back and forth, playing
yeah,
the game, but
yes,
not realizing she really had the sight and the hearing to understand what's going on. You see what I'm saying? She
yeah,
was kind of, going through the imposter syndrome of self, and then made that decision. It was like, all right, I, spirit tugged at me long enough. All right, I'll help you. You know, so, so if you had something like that, or whatever your story is, in regards to that, how did you come to grips truly with, okay, I'm out here to do this?
I would say when I was like already in this expansion, I was not fully aware of the gravity, the expansiveness of who I was. And so I was attempting to like be in a relationship, and when I felt a lot of resistance to just being open, to just being myself and finding someone to feel comfortable with, I feel like at that moment it was then, because I was like, this is yet another experience that's showing me that I need to put myself in a position to help people to see how to just function better. And that was like a really tough moment for me, because I am still human. I'm in this human body, and I have the same thoughts and feelings like most people. Like, I just want to be able to get into a relationship and have that standard timeline of, we meet, we connect, we grow, and then we evolve. And experiencing that not being able to be something that was just easy to flow through was something that was like really like, okay, I really have to like bear down, redefine myself, and really see like what is stopping me from being able to have it, because it's both sides of the coin, you know. And at that point I went and did like, and I'm a mom of 3, so me doing this was just not something that was even allowed. And but I allowed myself to do it, and I stepped away from all of my responsibilities of, having to take care of my home and my kids, and I set them up with their father, and I went and did basically a soul retreat by myself. And I went and I booked some stays in Airbnbs, and I just truly reflected and just found my own pace and what it is like, who am I and what am I truly looking to express, and what am I hiding from others that I'm hiding from myself as well. And that was about 5 years ago.
So halfway through the decade, it's when you came into the fullness of what you had set out to do long before you set out to do it. I think that's very interesting. Very, very interesting to, come to grips with yourself in that way, and to actively engage yourself in that way. Normally, we're the last ones. Everybody else is first. You said you're a mother of 3. That's a mother to 3 different universes. Then a man, like, that's a whole bunch of thing in the whole other space right there, trying to put it all together and find and carve out a space. Like, you had to literally drag yourself out of your space and go somewhere and be all right with it in order to find, because those roles that you name, those roles, those titles, those things of distinction, those badges of honor that's associated with things that you have chosen become overwhelming and very all consuming. Like,
Yeah.
where am I in the midst of all of this? So, again, this path to discovery, self discovery, this reinvigoration and reawakening, I applaud you for having the courage to do that, because that's not an easy task. Mom is mom, 87 hours out of the day. Dads, we get to show up and be like, put that down. And then all of a sudden it goes down. It's like, oh, like, I done told you to put that down 77 times. Your bottle come in, and all of a sudden you put it down. So it's a different kind of space. But then, like, okay, I got to leave you unsupervised with him. Like, all right, we the slow species. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to have a whole bunch of confidence and trust all the way around, seen and unseen. Like, oh shit, I got to leave you with him. Like, he's not qualified to watch himself. I got You understand what I'm saying? Like, so I'm adding some picturesque to what you're saying in regards to this journey, because this is how you've been able to heal and help other people and facilitate the healing process, because it began with you. That's what something I was saying in
Yeah.
short. So, what was your takeaways from your own healing journey? Even though I know it's ongoing. What would you say are 2 or 3 key takeaways from your own healing journey?
My biggest takeaway that I had to understand was it's always going to be easy on your own. It's always going to be easy on your own. However, being on your own isn't as fulfilling when you really want to get far. And I had to figure out what it was to be on my own first. And a lot of us think that we get to this place that, like, I got to be by myself with this, and then they stick on that spiritual journey on their own for a very long time, and it's only half of the battle. Like, being able to be by yourself is great, but it's even better when you can express that energy of who you are by yourself around other individuals without feeling the heat, the pressure, the resistance, the angst, and feeling into it and falling into that insecurity. That was number one. Number two, I learned very quickly why we need to learn how to do things with grace. That word was not what the word was then, but it is the word today that I'm using, with grace. But before it was grace, it was identifying that our success is only going to stick as well as we identify with who else is going to be rewarded from our success immediately. And immediately, the first party that gets rewarded is your timeline, is your generational lineage. Because everything that we're allowing ourselves to do right now that's new and out of the norm is creating a new pathway for many generations to come. And because if we think and we know time is irrelevant, whomever is already in our generational timeline soon to come is already there in that now moment while we're experiencing this. So we literally give them access immediately. And so we have to understand that sometimes we want to rush through our expansion, and we're not realizing that we're just dumping a lot of expansion onto the new people that are coming. And so there's this grace that we have to identify with, like, okay, I need to be quick with getting success, but I also need to be mindful and compassionate of what my success will do, because my success takes me out of someone else's paradigm, and someone else has to figure out what to do without you. And that's very pivotal, because we're not here to hurt the timelines. We're here to heal the timelines. That makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, I'm gonna admonish you not to say, "Does that make sense?" Not to me. You can tell the other people. Because if it don't make sense for knowledge will ask you a question like, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm a little slow. What did you mean by that right there?" Okay, you see what I'm saying? Like, yes, yes, yes,
Good,
yes.
good.
Healing the timelines, healing the generational gaps,
Yeah.
the things that are lost in translation, the things that our ancestral lineage didn't have the luxury or opportunity to address. Yeah, so many spaces right there. Becoming the best version of yourself, and then the best version of your bloodline, a true ambassador. That's what it is. Right
Yeah.
there. I love that. So now, starting as an entrepreneur and beginning this healing journey to help other people after you got to a place within yourself, what was that like as an entrepreneur, sat down striking like, hey, I'm open for business. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. Nothing's wrong with me. Something's wrong with you. What you trying to say? I thought you was my friend. I thought you was my auntie. You know how it goes. What was that journey like for you?
Well, that's a very good question. I was already in this walk of creating Elite Motivation. So when I created Elite Motivation, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to be offering. Okay. I just knew that I need to offer something that was going to provide motivation to the elite minded. That's all I knew. If your mind is elite, I promise you my motivation is going to cue you into your next moment. And in that acceptance, I was able to start picking up things that was going to help me to stand on my platform. And so I picked up becoming a health coach. Becoming a health coach was part of me springing into that moment of like, okay, it's here, it's now, it's happening, and you're already being a divine being. Whether it's clear or not to people, you're already doing it. And then I realized that I really just needed to clean up my conversation, really come from like that star seed activated presence versus coming from a conditional mindset. And becoming a health coach really helped me to redefine that. I've also gotten training to become a speaker that triggered right there a slew of people that were in my world because I come from a corporate background. So before I was ever being a health coach, I was working in the accounting, corporate all the time. You would find me in a corporate facility. And that's where a lot of my conversation was coming from. The corporate world doesn't leave you space to even think about the stress that you're giving yourself. And a lot of the corporate people didn't really like it because they're like, well, I have no choice to be here. And so that's when I understood like, okay, I could probably come from a better place. I'm still not going to take back what I say. I'm just not going to say it like that. There's more ways to empower people, and we don't have to shoot them in their pockets, even if we're not necessarily meaning to. And then I got a concussion, which I feel is the greatest moment of my life, even though it was the darkest, the most isolating, the most eye-opening, but it was a gift for me because I didn't have to actually step into all of the conditional roles that was expected of me, because now I have this thing that's stopping me. And I couldn't do anything else but work on myself and expand my spiritual conversation with myself. And in that process, I became a yoga coach. And so I have all of these tools and I utilize them all. I don't put anything to the side saying you're no longer useful. I find a way to incorporate it, because if I took the time to ingest it, that means that I can take the time to see the value from it, regardless of what value has dried up from the past. And that's why I'm here. So I have two businesses, Elite Motivation 411 and JDL Enterprises. I've been nurturing them together this whole time, and it's just now getting to a place where I can really push it through, because Elite Motivation is more personal development, spiritual platform, yoga, stretching the body. And then JDL Enterprises is where you're going to take all of those kind of things that you do, expose them to a community, and see how much you can actually be like that in a community. And so there we have it, Mahatma Starseed sharing her divine gift as much as I can in these physical realms.
Y'all see why she's so dope? Okay, look, I hope y'all taking dope notes over here. You understand? Because I'm taking dope notes. She over here giving out yoga and all of this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Get your life together. Get your life. Your life don't have to be in shambles. You know, I know some of us like our life in shambles, but it don't have to be. You know, it's like there's nobody out here that can help me get back to me. Yeah, look, we introducing y'all to the greatest of the greatest. All right, the greatest of the greatest. So I want to talk to you about the 21-day world class energy cleanse. I need to know some stuff about that. Okay. How did you start it? What's the backstory? I'm loving all of the vibiness. Is that a word? I
Yeah.
made it up. I think I don't know. What's up with the vibiness of the 21-day energy world class cleanse? What's up?
Oh man, the world class cleanse. I absolutely love the energy cleanse. I offer three. I suggest for you to do all of them. I created the energy cleanse, the conversational and the worldly. My health coach institute helped me to do the food cleanse. I got to give them shout outs. Um, Phenomenal school that helped me to step out. So, and they helped me to get comfortable with presenting something in a digestible fashion. So the food cleanse, and then what came out of that was my conversational cleanse, aka a chakra cleanse, and then the worldly cleanse, which is where you identify all of the chakras. The conversational is the throat, meant to say that. The throat chakra. Conversational cleanse, throat chakra specifically. And then the worldly cleanse is all of the chakras. I created these from the witnessing of my own spiritual development, and it happened to me over months and months of time. And I said to myself, you know, people would just be able to grow so much faster if they can experience their evolutions of spiritual development in a much more quicker pace. It's easier for us to pick it up. So instead of you experiencing aha moments from something that happened from point A to 6 months later, I created this platform, this model, so that you can have your ahas within 21 days, and it cleans you out, basically. It's like taking a shower. It's a spiritual shower. Where
So if you can share one or two instances, you know, I'm having you do your own testimonial. So, you know, what is something that somebody that you work with on this energy cleanse, what did they have to say? What's one or two things? When you say, "Oh, okay, y'all liked it, okay," like, "Oh, okay, this is one of them aha moments or something like that." However it goes.
right. I would say the first aha is it has nothing to do with food. People hear cleanse and they think it's connected to food. I specifically have a food cleanse. So it's not a typical, there's nothing that you have to buy besides buying in to paying attention. And there's like the three ahas, the most ones. The one I just told you, this is not a typical food cleanse. The number two one, I didn't think it was gonna happen that way. Like, so when they say that they didn't think it was gonna happen that way, they didn't realize the illumination that can come just from having a steady flow of accountability. And then the third thing was, a lot of people say, I thought that I knew what I was doing, but I now know that I didn't. But now I know what I need to do the right thing. Those are the most ahas that people get out of this. Like, wow, I've been using my chakras backwards. I've been using my chakras against me. I didn't know that that was a part of this chakra. And it brings a place for you to just collect your own moral compass. So it's very freeing. That's the biggest aha. People didn't realize that I can just say this and this will happen and no one's going to stop me. Like, yep. Mm-hmm. You just have to, know that that is your ability, and you can move forward through it. So it's being able to really set your own standard and really be able to, like, everything that's coming up in my life, regardless of how I'm showing up, I know that this is my set platform of my beliefs and my morals. And that's what I want to be in alignment with. And this is what I don't want to be in alignment with. So you get real clear about how everything is showing up in your life over 21 days. And you get to see how you can really change the dynamic. There's no set instruction that I can give you that's going to say, here, do this exactly here, and poof, it'll be gone. It's really, what is it that you are doing? And what is it that could have created a better opportunity for you? And that's different for everybody because we're all experiencing different. I just show you what to look at. I show you what your map is really like. This is the part of your map that is concrete. That's the part of your map that's concrete. That's concrete. You can't remove this. And so people get to understand their map versus always looking at the general map and saying, like, I think I'm supposed to be going that way, but I can't really filter in because this is a copied map. It's not my map. I didn't make this. It removes away the blame and it allows you to stay sane.
That right there. Okay. So you got testimonials in the chat over here. They're like, oh, this conversation cleanse had me so attuned. Okay, my favorite is the conversation cleanse. Okay, the food cleanses love. Like, look, okay, look. So you giving testimonials and the family is giving you testimonials at the same time. So evidently you got some stuff going on that's magical and mystical.
Thank you.
Now I need to know about writing. Okay, what's up with writing? You wrote this book, this ebook. Tell me about it. What it feel like? What's the story of the story of the story? What the story that you had the story about when you was telling the story and writing the story? And how was the story received after you wrote the story that was in your head and it went from your head to the ebook world and the people started reading it?
So the spirit message is...
Wait a minute. Hold up. You had to exhale deeply about, okay, I'm about to get my water together. Here, I'm get my water together. Okay.
You got to give a breath to it, got to give breath. I have been able to allow myself to find places to share. And I was at a goddess circle. We were doing some healing and I got a reading, and the reading was like, yeah, you need to write. Like, you need to write more. And I was just like, I don't really write. And it definitely was from a trigger, right? Because I have older siblings and they used to always mess with my journal. I don't know what that whole thing was about, reading other people's stuff. And so I never would write in a journal. And this was for years, and I started writing in a journal. I had no idea what I was going to write. However, I just started writing and writing and writing and writing. And I'm writing stuff that I'm not thinking about writing this. I'm not creating the anticipation of this is what I'm going to write about. And the first part of my writing was called The Changing of Our Lives. And it really made me realize that I have the ability to channel write. And it was the safest way for me to come out and speak to my higher self, and my higher self speak to me. And I found my sounds in my writing, and I started utilizing that to find my landing spot. And so I just started writing and writing and writing. And over the years, it's changed from like me helping myself heal to me giving like channel messages for the star seeds, and to where I'm like, I can't keep this. I don't feel like this is just content for just me. And so I figured out a way to just put it into this spirit message. There's going to be more to share. I put it in little bite sizes right now because just a couple of passages make you really think. And I want to support people to really think out what inspiration has been sent to them before they go and keep reading more of spirit. Because I call it the unspoken word. This is the unspoken word of spirit. These are the sounds that we have left in the shadows. We have left in the darkness. We have not given them light. And I am channeling that energy. And I channel it with the respect and honor that I have to keep myself clear so that those messages don't come out disrupted. And that's one of the things that led me into really honoring Mahatma and being able to bring that forward, because Mahatma Starseed is Vedic for great soul liberator. And I am standing in the portal of liberating the unspoken word of spirit. And so I take that with a lot of high regard. And that's how my writing had came in, because it was so dangerous to show the unspoken words of spirit. And I still experience the flack of speaking the unspoken word. But I stand firm in my ground, and I look forward to sharing more because it is transformational. The spirit message.
I mean, the spirit message chose you, so that means that you're transformational. Okay? If you was a bum, if you was a bum spiritually, you would have got skipped over. Somebody else would have got the spirit message. Okay, so that means that you spiritual royalty. Okay, I always use a movie reference. You know, I'm old enough / young enough to remember Lean on Me, and I watched it 1,000 times. They had a school song, and Mrs. Powers, excuse me, she gave them the remix before, people was promoting the remix. She said, "Take a bow, Mrs. Powers. You have rewritten our alma mater." You understand what I'm saying? Look,
Yes.
that made that man, he was stone faced and thugging the whole time. He got his chakras in the other way. Okay, that throat chakra had turned around in a way he never felt it before. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah. So wow. Yes, I'm thankful that your spirit guides pressed you and made you share and channel right, for the world, because the world will glean from that experience into perpetuity. So definitely,
Yeah.
you got people to read. Okay, that's a miracle. I want you to know that that's a miracle, because folks ain't reading unless it's on their timeline. All right, if it ain't on their timeline, and it better not be too many words. So you got to let somebody know, like, warning, long post. They'll be like, "Oh, it's more than 4 sentences." All right, I don't know. I'm gonna save it for later. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's writing. I want to get into coaching, but I also want to get into the podcast. Okay. She on Spotify, y'all. Don't let her fool you, okay? She thought she was gonna come up here. We wasn't gonna touch all of the touch. Okay, we touching all of the touch. So you got the podcast. What's the podcast story? I'm a little partial to podcast myself. Just in case you wanted to know. A little partial.
So my podcast is called EM Healing. And EM Healing was created because I couldn't get outside because of my concussion. And I was adamant at still having conversations. I knew my spirit was not about to let a concussion be the thing that stops me from sharing the lights. So to be able to help individuals transform, I offer healing conversations. And regardless if the co-host that is visiting me knows or not, they're going to get some healing in our conversation. And I created it just before 2020. And from there, being in that realm, I started doing sound healing because I feel like sound is something that we need to heal from, as well as our conversation of using sound, because we use sound to converse. And so we cannot just say, I'm just going to fix my conversation. We need to fix our sound in the conversation and really understand our high notes, our low notes are all because of our trauma or our accomplishments. You know, certain words that we say, are we saying it shyly because that word has experienced a lot of trauma? And so sound healing helps us to let the words that we just heard in a healing conversation take a moment, activate it into your body, let it meet the parts of your body that has experienced trauma of not feeling free to express and feeling safe to say what you feel is sound for you, and experiencing like the person on the other end really being open to like, yeah, express that more. Like, I don't search for people in my conversation to see whether they're wrong or right. I seek a level of resonance of where we can provide higher sounds together. And it's totally different. A lot of people finish the conversation with saying, wow, I didn't think I was going to feel so great. A lot of people get fired up. Like, I'm even more excited to do the work that I'm doing. And I'm like, damn right, do that. You know, and then listen to some sound healing afterwards, and also offer your body some silence, because our body deserves silence from a healthy place. Because a lot of times we get silence and it's negative. Silence, accountability, and another thing. There was another word. Silence and accountability. I know those two have been given like bad innuendos to where we're not allowed to give that to each other, but we should be allowed to.
Okay, so tell the people where they can find the podcast.
You can find EM Healing on just about a lot of the podcasts. Is like the main ones are Apple, Spotify, and Google. Those are like the main universal ones. And if you're looking for my sound healing music that I am posting little by little, Mahatma Starseed on all platforms.
Hey, we can get you some sound healing music, okay? Sound healing music. Sound that's going to heal you, and it's not whack, okay? Look, let me tell you something. I love this place right here. I love this place. We got sound healing music over here, and we got chakra music, okay? Chakra music, you know what I'm saying? So we got music for your chakras, to shock your chakras so they're spinning in the right direction. I didn't know that you could be using your chakras against yourself, okay? You could be self-sabotaging on the chakra level, okay? You
Yeah.
using yourself like you like, I think I'm doing good for myself, but you doing bad for yourself by your own chakra needs. Okay, you're not speaking the right language to your chakras. You ain't ingesting the right stuff for your chakras, so they working against you. Your chakras is in retrograde, fam. Okay, get them out of retrograde. All right, let's start getting them spinning in the right direction. I love
Right.
that. I love that.
And you know why that happens? that happens because a lot of people, and I'm going to say newbies, and I'm sorry, I have to say newbies, novice, they come into this healing place and they're like, oh, these things are bad for me. These things are bad for me. So I need to use my chakras to rebuke it, which is great, reduce the resistance from the past. But then they use that knowledge to rebuke the present. We're not here to rebuke anything in the present. We're here to receive it intelligently, which is what we didn't do before. And that's why we got to rebuke a lot of the poor test results. We need to be present and use our powers properly, which does not require us to reject anything. Rejection is only when we're in cleaning, not when we're in the doing. And that's where people get confused because they love to live in the past.
I mean, it's our favorite movie. That's the one we know the most. So we like, look, you know what I'm saying? I remember, I scored 4 touchdowns in one game. You're like, you 75, dude. That was 75 years ago. But I'm saying, y'all remember, I got my high school ring, from that football game. Yeah, I mean, those are the things, whether they're inspirational or detrimental to us, that's the place that we go. We go to that place because we know it the most. We miss the present, because the present is unfolding and the future is uncertain and unknown. So that's the place we place our fears in the future. We place our negligence in the present, and we put our love, honor, and attention in the past. So I got that from your website, by the way. That's Mahatma. Mahatma got some Mahatma-isms up there for you. Okay. Yes. We can get to the fun part now. We can get to the fun part. The Less Nobodies convention / award ceremony. What's your connection to the greatest? Should be calling me a grand connector. You understand? The greatest healer, reciprociter in the universe. Sunshine on the L in this convention. What's the backstory? I need to know some connections.
Well, I met Sunshine virtually. We had gotten connected through the spiritual powers that be, and I immediately was able to recognize her energy on an etherical level, and I don't deny anything at that level, and I'm just like, whatever I gotta do to be in alignment with a cosmic individual as yourself. And then to see like she's posting all of these things about cosmic this, cosmic that, and I'm just like, this is exactly the bread and butter that I would like to be a part of, like their community. I'd love for them to be part of my community. And from then we have been connecting. I believe we've known each other since 21, and she has gone through my community process. My onboarding process is what it's called. The onboarding process to becoming a safe space that is brought to you by JDL Enterprises. And we began becoming safe spaces for each other at that moment. And we've been building ever since then. I'm really intentional about the connections that I have. And I desire to connect with people that really want to realign life from their own purpose. And I see that in her and all the work that she does. So I am team Less Nobodies. I am team Cosmic Convention. I don't need to get an award to show up. Being able to have it available to an individual of my frequency is appreciation already. So being able to be nominated is a high honor for me.
Okay, so let the people know what you got going on for tomorrow. What you're gonna be doing up in there. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna be up there sound healing, chakra aligning. What you doing? You choking somebody out? What you doing? What you doing? You know, because sometimes that's good medicine. Like, come here and get choked a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I do it in the most nicest way. You know, I do it in the most for me, I enjoy doing sound healings. Even though, you know, I can offer, we are going to be having a hot topic in regards to being more in alignment with yourself. There's a couple of different topics. I'm not completely off of my head the topic, but I will be sharing my sound healing tomorrow, and I will also have a booth there to share more about what I've got going on and how people can get lined up with me. Working on sharing on the onboarding process more. I'm a little more invite only kind of a vibe with the onboarding process, only because it's in its infancy, and it's really for people that really, really want to go through it. And we're setting up like the perfect kind of like introduction to invite people like on a larger scale. But I'll be practicing to share the onboarding process to becoming a safe space tomorrow.
Yeah, you gotta protect your children, okay? You don't know who out here. It might be some, you know, bad business, spiritual predators out here lurking around. You understand?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. And I'm very passionate at helping individuals to have their eyes set to their frequency and for their abilities. Because a lot of us have our eyes set to be an op. And we don't need no more ops.
No more ops, okay? No more ops unless they here to teach us a lesson that we missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they blessings, they ain't ops no more. Like, yeah, I appreciate you for being
Right.
phony. So I can see that there's phony people that still exist in the world. You know, and I keep my eyes open. I appreciate you, blessing ops. Snap. Look, that was a little jokey joke.
But it's true though.
But
Like
real,
you
but real.
you
Look,
you get to be more thankful of like, oh, you're an op. I got it. They watching. All right.
appreciate
I'm not gonna be so upset. Like, versus like now I'm getting entangled. You making me feel some type of way. We don't need that energy exchange.
it. Right.
You know.
So
Beautiful.
what's the final message you got for us? I know you done channel something while you were sitting here. Give us a word, whether you got to choke us with it or not. You understand what I'm saying? Give us some godmother truth right
I will say the best thing that I can share for individuals that are walking in their journey right now is just find your grace, find your surrender, make those your lifeboat in any waters you jump into, you can get out of. But if you let go of your lifeboat, can't nobody save you. Especially if you out there by yourself. So stay with a group, stay connected, and let somebody know when you're traveling into other dimensions, because we don't know where you're going unless you tell us. And that includes physically and mentally. Stay connected.
now. Stay connected. Okay. So tell the family how to stay connected. I posted every link I think that I could find in the chat while we were building, you know. And I was getting my heal on. I'm healed now, so look, don't try me. Okay, I had a healing session right here because I got an elite mind. Sometimes, sometimes my mind be raggedy, but for most part, my mind be elite. Okay, so I'm elitely motivated right now in this moment. The next moment, I might be raggedy, so teetering in between the Elite Motivation Interactive
Yeah.
Myth. Okay? So let people know how to stay connected with you, life
Yeah.
preserver.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, everybody has to stay motivated and they need outside source. I definitely reach out to Sunshine, Bless Nobodies, for them to be my mentor. We openly mentor each other, which is great because at the end of the day, if you don't have a mentor, it gets very sad and lonely. So for those of you that are looking for someone to step into your mentorship space, check me out. I have free discovery sessions. You can find that in my link tree. Mahatma Starseed can be found on Elite Motivation411 on IG and on Facebook. And you can find my link trees in those bios. Sign up for a discovery session. I have free 30-minute session. I believe it's like all the way down at the bottom. But if you're ready to jump in, get an energy reading from me, as well as find out more about my 12-week coaching package. Thank you. It's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing my site. Got some testimonies.
Testimonials. So, okay, look, these are real people. These ain't bots, man. Look, you understand? Yeah. Get it together.
Yeah.
I've seen testimonies in the chat. I've seen all kinds of stuff. Like, look at this website. Don't you just feel calm? Like, I felt, man, calm when I came over here. I was like, all right, I'm calm. I'm feeling zen. Okay. One of my chakras got unblocked. It went back blocked after, but it was unblocked for a little bit.
It takes a little deep cleaning. But I definitely suggest to do a two for one with the energy cleanse. So if you're really looking into getting a full energy cleanse, you definitely want to sign up for the worldly and the conversational. And I do half off for the second. And it's open to all kinds of platforms, whether you're a professional, whether you're just a parent, whether you're just someone working on their spiritual journey. Get that session.
Hurry up, because the price might go up. Okay.
Yeah.
Might go up. So get it while the getting is good. That's what my mother used to say. You better get it while the getting is good. Okay. That's what she used to tell.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been fun. I love sharing about the work that I offer, and I look forward to the individuals that get attracted. I appreciate you for making this space.
Definitely. We out of here, y'all. And we about to go live with the Starseed Connector. Okay. The reciprocity here in a few minutes. Sunshine on the air will be here. I hope y'all didn't think all this was gonna happen and she wasn't gonna be here. Look, let me tell you something. So she's gonna be in the building here shortly. Thank you, Mahatma Starseed. You are truly a redeeming force for those who are willing to do the work to get back to their heights. So salute to you. And we out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Welcome. Behind the Vedic veils, Sarah Bartman, Venus of Holophels, victory visits Valor Vest through Vortex, Stargate, the tarot card shows Patar face, the goddess vape while our cigar taste, priest, I'm camouflaged within the grates, I channel into stars then disperse around space, send candles in the Mars, then the verses I create, each bar becomes a god, past times, different plates, while y'all on Instagram, I microdose with 1/10 of a gram, the mics I broke with the strength of a ram, took my rights, Jim Crow said I'm only 1/5 of a man. Now you can see the whole God that I am. I consume the whole mushroom. To whom much is given, much is required. Trust your Messiah. I'm a monsoon, a typhoon, clusters of fire. Big hands reach out the jewel, clutching the rider. What's your desire? To rule. My heavy mental became an empire. With the symbol of 10 bulls, it's simple, I reign wiser. My temples are raised higher. Explain firmly. Hermes, Trismegistus, and lyrics that specialize in the pyramids and physics. It's mesmerizing for human ears to hear this. My nebula guidance, soon you feel this weirdness. Your blood pressure rises, you get cold as the fear grips your soul. The sheer bliss, you go, spirit from bones. This way into the vape room. Read my Vedas, may make you wanna take shrooms. Be free in nature, can your nostrils take fumes? You need the gospel as you face doom. I lay in tombs and ski on vapor. The Kabbalion, 528 hertz the volume. My verse is like the universe is falling. I search, there's no human worth my calling. The whole earth, every womb, every coffin. The hermetic hookah lounge. I'm in the back, I'm not used to crowds. Sudden movements in groups too loud. I just lounge in my suit and crown. Cigars in the car, red shoes on the towels. Wild style when I blow a cloud. Women get aroused as their attention swim around. It's written down, pen is swung like a pendulum. My writing is psilocybin mycelium. Bicentennium, bodies and drums to next millennium. Reptilian, necks get rung, I'm killing them. Since Da Vinci carved this demigod. Called the priest cause he knew I came from the infinite divinity squad. Heru, Nimrod. Firestones engraved to the Templar. Priest, I rise upon the throne where sages grew, Avenger.
Hey, Sunshine Monet with the affirmations
peace,
to enjoy your
y'all.
day with.
Sunshine Monet.
You are listening to Chakras.
I came through with intentions of destruction. You said you wanted freedom, well it's me then that you wanted. I moved in gratitude as my soul was being summoned. The consciousness has returned, Christ is really coming. I make these flows for the souls that drift in indigo. I made some goals for they glow since they was embryos. Access the records, they lectures, keep your principles. Enemies infect you, don't let them reach your pinnacles. Reversing curses that's embedded in religions. They wound up in your soul, that's why you feel in tension. I'm remixing declensions before Sumerians existed. It's something in the water, don't get caught, you'll get acidic. I bury enemies, pay pinnacles to the witness. You say my name in threes, I appear in your vision. Write Iliads in me, I'm the witcher in your system. Silly as can be, there's no opposite in infinite. I'm the goddess of crossroads, touching all directions. With the skull and crossbones that call to the vexes. I applaud the protectors, I'm the god of inflection. They see the demon in me and still pause the respecters. I need no translation, vibrating from universe. My throat mansplaining while my yoni do the work. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts.
Enoch 7 prophet, move like the full winds do. My energy is useful, my thoughts are old school. So I move with a Bob Slim. Say I'm sexy, haircut like Anita Baker, real lovely. Caught up in the rapture, it's kinda risque. Kisses and faces on public is real frisky. Touche.
You are listening to Chakra music.
Mask off.